All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Enlightened Conversations. Excited for today and have an awesome guest with us here who I just found out is also here in Miami. Had no idea. She is enjoying this tropical weather that we have here in the summertime. We have Neoshi Green Kebru. Probably mispronounced one of her last part of her last name, but I'll refer to her as Neoshi for the rest of this time. And I came across Neoshi's page on Instagram actually not too long ago, and I immediately saw the energy that she was sharing with her audience and reached out to her and asked her if she wanted to have a fun conversation with me here today, and that's what we're going to do. Neoshi is a hypnotist, and she also does past life regression and just all around awesome human being, and I'm excited to flow some good energy with you guys today. So without further ado for me, I want to introduce you guys to Neoshi, and if you can share with the audience so they're more familiar with you, who you are, what you do, why you do it, all these good things.
Sure. So, as you said, my name is Neoshi. I'm the founder of Neoshi Hypno and Soul Healing, and I work with women who are on a spiritual journey to heal their soul, break through blockages, and align with their divine purpose. And I do that through hypnosis, of course. But with hypnosis, I also combine various different techniques to assist with soul healing. And one of those techniques is past life regression, which is everybody's favorite. Everybody loves that one too. Past life regression and among other things. And I'm just grateful to be able to work and help in the way I'm helping right now.
I love it. We're going to definitely get into because I know a lot of people out there are probably fascinated with not only hypnotism and also past life regression, and maybe might even be a first time. Some people out there might have heard or even heard of past life regression. We'll dive into that. But before we do, I'm always curious because I know Neoshi and you know as well. We all come here to this life as little unconditional loving little babies, and for a time, most of us forget who we truly are, and maybe are questioning what it is that we're even doing here, and then it's always my hope for all of us that we can have the light bulb pop back on and remember who we truly are. And for you, did you go from like unconditional loving little baby to poof who we see here today, or did you for a time forget who you truly were as well?
So, yeah, of course, like everybody, I was trying to figure it out myself. I always like to go back to, because where it really started, which is really my childhood, where I really came into the realization of spirituality around 5 years old, because my family was very heavily in the church, still is very much to this day. And that's the environment I was raised in. And, I went to, a black church, of course. And, there's a lot that happens in the black church. There's a lot of energy that happens in a black church, from, the Holy Ghost to the speaking in tongues and all these things like that. And those things that I would see as a young girl and would be like, how are they doing this? Like, what are they saying, and how are they saying it, and how do they know what to say, and are they really feeling this Holy Ghost that they're talking about? I want to feel this Holy Ghost. I haven't felt this Holy Ghost, right? So, in an attempt to try and figure it out, because um, who wouldn't want to feel a connection to source, right? So in an attempt to figure it out, I thought to myself one day, well, maybe, maybe they're faking it, and then maybe that's the way to kind of get to and connect with source. You got to kind of fake it at first, and then you'll feel it. So 5 years old, I do that in the middle of church. I do my whole, whole dance, and you know, fall to the floor like I'm filled with the Holy Ghost, and then I'm laying there and I'm thinking, nah, this ain't it. Like, you can't be faking it. No, who fakes this? What's the purpose of faking this? And you're not really gonna feel anything because you still don't feel anything. And that's basically the journey of me searching spiritually to have that connection with source, to find something that felt right for me. And as I grew older, of course, I grew out of that institution of religion, but I was still very much very spiritually minded and where I wanted to connect. And you know, had various experiences growing as a young adult, from college to becoming a mom, and all of these things, and then started to come across different schools of thought and different teachings and discoverings from quantum healing and all these things. And when I found uh, this, there's a Colombian doctor named Olivia Mejia, and he was most videos are in Spanish, but there's a practitioner that I found that was doing it here, and I was just like, oh wow, this is amazing! Like they're able to heal people this way. They're able to, and what is all this stuff going on? Because I had been very fascinated with the work of Dolores Cannon, the past lives, and Brian Wise, many lives, many masters, all of that, and realized with the help of my husband that this is work that I should be doing, and I haven't looked back from that.
Super interesting. Our lives parallel as well, as far as the early. I grew up in a Baptist church as well, church every Sunday, and the thing that I appreciate most about that is I always believed that there was more going on than what I could just see here. With me, I believed in God, and and then that idea evolved as I got older. And the thing in the church in the early days, I never resonated really with the parts that we're talking about. If you don't do this, then this will happen, and you'll be punished forever. And like anything that was having to do with love and any religion or spiritual teaching, I resonate with, and connection and oneness. Like I always like to say we can feel truth when we hear it. But anything that was preaching about, separation or, fear, doubt, all of these things and judgment, that didn't resonate with me. And even still to this day, I say, anything that I say that resonates with you, take it with you, and anything that doesn't, leave it here. But I definitely can relate to you as far as that goes. And then on your journey, did you have, like, when it came to your introduction to hypnotism and then past life regression, did you have like a mentor show up, or a book, or just you in meditation? Like, how did it unlock to where you're like, like, okay, this is definitely the direction that I see myself going in?
So it wasn't a mentor; it was more so spiritual guidance. I remember after my daughter was born, I have three children, 12, 10, and 2. After my second child was born, I had this what I call a coming to Jesus moment, where I literally broke down in my house because I was I had just had my second daughter, my second child. Um, I was running a business, stay at home mom, homeschooling mom, doing all of these things, and although I had a very lucrative business where I was making, 6 figures a year, it just wasn't fulfilling to me. Like I felt like I really felt like there was more, like something was missing. I couldn't find that connection. Like I was like, and I literally dropped down. And one day I remember in the room, and I just began to cry. I was like, you know, I need to find, like, help me. I need help. I need help. Help me find whatever it is I'm supposed to be doing. I've always known that and I always felt like I should be doing what I need to be doing, what's aligned with me, what's aligned with my purpose is, and I was still trying to figure that out. I knew that it wasn't what I was doing at that moment, and I knew it wasn't what I was looking into as well. Also, and I just having that whole moment, just like literally like crying, snot nose. Like I remember getting a very um 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 powerful like sense of love, like a very warm sense of love. It's just like it's coming, like be patient, it's coming. Type of emotion, feeling, and just peace and love. And it was around that time where I kind of discovered those teachings I was telling you about with the quantum healing and all that, and past lives, and even Abraham Hicks, things like that. And it was like little breadcrumbs leading me here and there to it. I was always spiritually guided for that. And one thing would make, like you said, we would hear something and it, you just know, you'll know it's true because of how the way it feels and how it resonates with you. It was like that. And so when I found the work of, Aurelio Mejia, and um, I was so calm by it that I literally was like watching these videos like all every day. I would wake up and watch the videos. I would be around the house doing chores and I'm listening to the videos. I would go to sleep at night and I'm falling asleep to the videos. And I remember one day in the kitchen, my husband was like, "Listen, you listen to this stuff all day, every day. Like, you think you should just be doing this? Why don't you just learn how to do this yourself?" And I'm like, I literally hadn't considered it at all, but had been fascinated by it. Just really felt, a calling to like being brave to like surround myself with it. And so I stepped on in a few days, and Spirit told me yes, and I looked at everything like this is the way I really want to help because I've always known I wanted to help in a deeper level um, than what you know. Um, I guess you could say surface level of things, what I call or what I feel are surface levels. I want to be able to help at a soul level, and always knew that I would be able to help in a deeper way. And Spirit led me and told me that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I made the decision to do it, and I haven't looked back.
I love it. I love it. Such a good reminder for all of us. And I love reminding people that we can always, like when you described your moment, like the come to Jesus moment where you're just like, what is it that I, can be doing? Like,
Right,
what is it that I'm here for? And like you were just open to receiving that. Like for all of us, like we can always ask those questions at any time to whatever you resonate with out there, God, universe, to love, all it is, to nature. And when we can just
right,
release
right,
the how's it going to happen or when's it going to happen or all the details of it, which is, that's not our work. Like everything in life that, we see around us has unfolded synchronistically in ways that we couldn't predict any of it. And then, she described so beautifully how, all of a sudden, she was drawn to different things and started listening and listening. I had a phase that way as well, where I went so far, Neoshi, like there was a phase where I was listening to so much personal growth, different spiritual teachers that there couldn't have been anyone on earth listening to more because I had it going. Not only did I have it in my headphones all day, like I'd be taking business calls and I'd have like the business call in this head and I have another headphone playing. Just I wasn't conscious to what it was playing, but I was like, some of this is seeking in and keep my vibe up. So this will make me better on the business call. And then I took that even one step further and I was like, I had a mentor say, there's pillows that you can sleep with and like you can play personal development while you're sleeping and it'll seep into your subconscious. I was like, really? So I have a pillow that I haven't used it in years to do that. It's a really comfortable pillow. But yeah, it was playing like personal growth and stuff like while I was sleeping and it just like so I can definitely relate there. But just reminding everybody that we can ask whatever questions matter to us out to the universe and be open to receiving. There's different ways that it can come, and then your husband like encouraging you to actually step forward and do this is often that's awesome. That's another example of synchronistically he's in your path to be able to when you were ready to hear that, then you mentioned you hadn't even contemplated that yet, but when he said it, you were ready, and then it was that's the journey that you've been on, which is beautiful. So I love the reminder that you gave because that could help lots of people out there, wherever you are in life. Just first asking the question and then just releasing it and being open to the answer coming in whatever way that it finds us is how it always works for all of us.
right, right. I agree.
So
I agree.
for people out there that may not be so familiar with more than what they may have seen in movies, like when it comes to hypnotism and stuff like that, where they're just seeing like the clock waving and they snap the fingers and then making them do crazy things. What for someone out there that may be new to this world, and I'm going to ask you the same thing about past life regression, but let's start with the hypnotism. For someone, how would you explain like what you're doing with clients or with people that come to you, and like, what are you doing? And you mentioned you work primarily with women, and that's your intention. What are mainly do you do when you're using hypnotism to help your clients?
Yeah, so yeah, hypnosis is very much not what people think it is. A lot of people think that you're asleep or they always imagine some scene from like Get Out or something like that when a woman's like stirring the teacup, and then the guy just starts falling down in emptiness, and he can't move, he can't like he's not in control of his own body or his mind. And it's not that at all. You're very much still aware of, yourself and everything that's happening in hypnosis. And like I said, it's not mind control, and or I can't make you do or say anything you don't want to do. But hypnosis is just a tool that I use in my sessions. There's other tools like forgiveness therapy, spirit assistance, where we release any spirit attachments that we might find within your body or energetic field, and various other things that we do in the session, connecting to higher source, all of that, or your higher self, all of that. But I think I lost track of my thought here. What was the question again?
For people that may or be new to hypnotism and what the power of it and what you're doing with clients, what would you say really it's doing most for people when you're working with them as far as how it's impacting them in their lives when they're coming to you?
Okay, so a lot of people come to me when they're trying to find guidance from their in their purpose. Like, what is my purpose in life? What am I supposed to be doing? And then sometimes they'll come because they want to know like what patterns they've been repeating from past lives that are influencing their life today. Because essentially that's what past life regression assists you with assisting you in identifying any reoccurring patterns or maybe any buried emotions or trauma that's affecting you now. Um, and then also, of course, they want to be able to connect with the higher self without their critical mind getting in the way, and get the answers to their, issues that they've been struggling with. And so, there's been a lot of emotional healing, a lot of, spiritual healing, a lot of, consequently attached to that when you're dealing with like spirit attachments and things like that. That's a whole nother ball game. But that's a part of the session as well, where we're able to work with and identify any energies in the body that doesn't belong. So whether it be spirits um, that crossed over, or people who crossed over but never went to the light, or other different types of thought forms and things that you might have picked up from someone else or from someplace else, all different type of things. And when they come and they're attached to you, they bring their own issues. So once we identify what those attachments are, and once we get them to leave, then we have them take everything with them. They take their things with them. And once they take their things with them, then however they've been affecting you in physical form or emotionally or, in any way, you receive almost immediate relief from that. So I've had clients who have, had a ringing in her ear for over a year. And once we removed the spirit attachment, she didn't have that ringing anymore almost immediately and hasn't had it to this day. I've had a client who had a trauma from a past life, losing her three children in that life during the plague. And when we went back there and revisited that life, she realized that she was holding on to that. She was holding on to that, and it was causing her anxiety and anxious feelings, in this life, to the point where she was very cautious about, always just worried that thinking that something's going to happen to her children. So she never let them go anywhere, didn't let them out of her sight, and all which as parents, but she was so much overly anxious about it that she was on anxiety meds. And after our session, and I spoke to her a week after, she was, she basically was like, giving me so much like thanks for it, because she said she's off of her meds now. Her husband, who was initially against the session at all because he was very, basically of a religion that he didn't feel like it was ungodly. Her husband noticed how big of a difference it made in her, and he saw. He was actually at that moment considering a session for himself. So, that's just a few of the stories, but it's been able to affect people in so many ways. Also, when getting the answers to what they are divinely here to do, what's their purpose, what are their strengths, what are their talents, how they're supposed to be using it. Um, all these things that we, carry and we struggle with every day trying to figure out, allow hypnosis allows you to tap into the subconscious and cut the chatter from that critical conscious mind that's always in the way and get the answers that you need from that aspect. But it's so much more than hypnosis of what I do. It's so much on a deeper level. Hypnosis is just a tool that I use to work with clients that allows me to be able to do the work that I do.
I love it. I love it. And you just set some really good reminders for all of us as far as this gave me so much peace, Neoshi, when I realized that the physical avatar that is we're seeing here in this conversation, you call mine Noel, we call yours Neoshi, you call yours whatever it is that you call yours out there, that is just housing the energy that all of us truly are. And you might call this, God force energy, source energy, love energy, spirit, whatever it is that you would call this energy. That's who all of us truly are. And we realize that energy is eternal, meaning, it will always exist. It will always be. It always has existed. That could be, this is really awesome because then you can start going into, if you're drawn to, work with someone like Neoshi and, you start going into past lives. And really what I like to point out, if the things that have gone on in our past, in this life or another, if they're not impacting us, and if you find yourself being heavily impacted in the present moment by anything, you're like, there's just something off. Like Neoshi described the mother who, or the woman who had lost three kids in a past life, and how that was showing up in this life as anxiety and lots of other things. Like if you find yourself that right now, and there's constantly things that are showing up in the present moment, and it seems to be a pattern. There may be some things in this life or another, or some trauma that's causing this to show up. So it's great if you're noticing it, because then you can ask the question to the universe, to God, what is it that's going on here? I'm noticing myself being anxious quite a bit. Like, what is going on? And then all of a sudden you might be on a podcast like this. You're like, ooh, that Neoshi human just gave an example of something that I feel experiencing too. These are the times where you want to reach out to human beings like this and take an action step. Like, because the universe will bring us people, places, circumstances, good ideas, in all sorts of forms. That will be the answers to the questions that we ask, and that's how we started this episode. So, if right now you're not noticing any disempowering patterns that you have going on in the moment, awesome. Like, you're good. Like, just keep focusing on the moment, because that's all that exists for any of us. I had to ask questions like these and have some things attracted to me that I uncovered through meditation, and not even realizing that I was being super critical of myself and of others, and it was a pattern. It was affecting my right now energy a lot. And unfortunately, or fortunately if we're aware of it, unfortunately if we're not, that's going to determine what is reflected out into our lives, by the energy that we're bringing into life right here and now and now and now. And so I love that you pointed that out. The eternalness of our energy, for those that, past life regression and that we have past lives, might be something that you haven't grasped yet, or that's not a possibility, or that's not something that you've accepted as truth for you yet. I would just be open to possibility, because in this life we have universal laws, and then everything else is possibility. So I don't ever close off to anything, but I wanted to point out the eternalness of our energy, because that gives me all the peace that I need to not fear death, to not fear anything that's going on, because I know that if you're existing right now out there, you will always continue to exist, and you won't look like you look now. This physical avatar, you get to play in this physical body one time. So, enjoy it, live it up, do the things that you came here to do, let your soul evolve like it's going to anyway. So I love it. I know I inspired you to say something. I could feel it brewing out of you, Neoshi.
No, I was gonna say no. That's exactly true. And you made it, a note about people being open to it even if they don't believe in it. Um, I could say that for a fact, even clients who may not be necessarily believe in past lives, um, during sessions they've still gone to past lives and be like, "What the hell? Like, this can't be me. This can't like." So everybody who comes to me is not just past life regression. They're looking for other things too. But they're always open to an idea. Maybe it can be real, but they don't necessarily really have a strong idea about it. But I always say, I'm not in the mind of trying to convince anybody to believe in anything. especially people who I know who I'm here to serve and I'm meant to help. Um, they don't need any convincing. They come because they know they find me and there's a resonance and they're like, I need help. I need to work with her. And those are the people who I focus on. I don't necessarily focus on anybody who has doubt or who needs convincing of anything, because everybody's at where they're at for a reason. And they'll eventually get to where they need to be, whether it be this or someone else assisting them. But I don't focus on like trying to convince people to believe in you need this, you need that. That's just so not me. I'm not for everybody, but for those I am for, I welcome, and I'll welcome you with open arms. Yeah.
I love that. That's what you just said right there. As far as like, we don't need anything. We're just ready for what we're ready for, and we came here. The reason that we're all in these physical avatars is because the human experience is going to allow our energy, our spirit to evolve. Like every life experience that we have is going to evolve us, and we're going to evolve. We're all at different places on our journey here, in this life. So some people will be ready for Neoshi, some people won't. It's cool. Like for me, that's why I said if anything that I say ever resonates with you, like awesome, take it with you. And if not, there's still a seed planted to where 5 years from now or 10 years from now or 5 days from now, you'd be like, that Noel guy was saying this, and awesome. I don't get to give me any credit. I don't want it because somebody at some point shared it with me and helped me become aware of it too. And it just is. It just is what it is. I enjoy becoming aware, but that's why it's important also. And like Neoshi mentioned this too, just to stay open to. I highly recommend just staying open to possibility, because I've seen this. Like you've probably seen this chart where it's like, okay, the things that we know, and it's like this little tiny sliver of the things that we know, and then there's the things that we don't know. And there's like a slightly bigger chart. This would be things like for me, like molecular biology and like, calculus. Like I don't know these things. And I know that I don't know these things. So the things you know and the things that you know that you don't know. And then there's this huge section, which is like the overwhelmingly large section for all of us, is the things that we don't know and we don't know that we don't know them. Like this is like the overwhelming amount of what's out there in the universe. And this is where all of us lies. So yeah, we know the things that we know, and we know there's things that we don't know. But then there's that other section. I highly recommend just staying open to possibility for that section, because if you are, then the universe can just be, you're just an open channel to the universe bringing you whatever is useful for your soul's evolution where you are now. And it can come from anywhere at any time. So, and it's more fun that way. It's just fascinating. It's like an adventure. Like, oh, I didn't even know that this existed. Like I've had to Google things sometimes before these conversations. Like, what is that they have listed as one of the things they do? I didn't even know that that was a thing. And now I know. So I love it. I love it. So I have a question for you, Neoshi, that I love asking people, because if I ask you this a year from now, you're going to have another year of life experience. So this will be even more evolved. But it's a vision question as far as just now that you're helping people in the way that you are. Like, what's your vision for what you're doing in your work or in your life, or vision that you have for humanity, or anything vision related that you said I'm excitedly moving in this direction. What's your vision for everything that you're doing right now?
So I've always had this knowing that you can call it from books or whatever, but I say knowing, but it resonated with me when I read it. So I've always had this knowing that we're all here with special gifts, and each person is here to assist you in their way with whatever gifts that they've been given. And for me, I feel like um, part of my mission, my vision rather, is to just assist those who are aligned with my purpose, my mission here. Assist them in being able to, heal on whatever level that they need to heal, but more deeply on a soul level. Um, because we always talk about changing the world, but we always have to remember that um, changing the world starts with you. And so for me, I've become aware that in what I'm doing, my way of changing the world is helping people individually be able to work on themselves and change themselves for the better and whatever vision that they might have for themselves. So whether that be, them becoming more aware of, patterns that they have that aren't very healthy for them, or you know, spiritually evolving due to, different situations and experiences that are occurring in their life, or even if it's from past life trauma, etc. But my vision is just to be able to do that, to be able to touch every woman and men, because I work with men as well, but be able to touch each person I come in contact with on a deeper level, to the point where I'm able to help them assist the things that they're struggling with. So helping them find their purpose and what their purpose is, so that they can too, um, you know, what do you call it, provide and serve in the way that they're meant to serve, to assist everyone. Because imagine if everybody was living in their purpose. Imagine if everybody was um, aligned with what they're supposed to be doing, and they're healed at a deeper soul level. When you bring that all together, then we can really have the world that we talk about. We would love to see, the utopia or whatever that you would call it. You'd be able to see less, violence and things like that in the world, less, depression and anxiety and all these different things that we see, we turn on the TV and see nowadays. But just to be able to help in a way that allows them to advance their soul, um, advance themselves spiritually, and to be able to align with their purpose, so that they can get out there and do what they're supposed to be doing in this world and affect the change that we all need.
I love that. I love that. This is why I like having conversations like these, Neoshi, because we're all in our different ways. If we're our intention is to empower anybody that's attracted to listen to this, and to remind all of us who we all truly are. That's why I always like to use the example of us just being in these physical avatars, but the energy of us, that God force energy, being who we truly are. And I love what you just described, because the more of us around the planet that remember that, the 7.7 billion of us that are here, or more, or however many there are now, to me, it just makes it more of a fascinating life to live, where you out there, who you are, and you're excited to to spread love wherever you are, whether it's with your family or your friends, or you're excited to create something, whether it be a new food or a new experience, or to do whatever it is that you feel drawn to do. And that's the beauty of having so many people, is we're all drawn to do different stuff. So it's like not everybody's gonna be doing the same thing. We'd have a lot of one thing. So it's just, but right now, if we don't remember yet, if that light bulb hasn't come on, who we truly are, then we could question if we're even worthy to even enjoy this life or create anything. And we're here to say that this is for all of us. This is who all of us are. There's no human where they have a special kind of energy flowing through them that you don't have. And so just don't even think that you can do anything that they're doing. That's just not the case. So I love what you're doing, and that ties into this first question. And if you guys have questions, put them in the question box, because it allows me to do this, which I've been wanting to do. Allows me to throw the question in the on the screen, which I like that feature. I just discovered this. So if we were to have a session with Neoshi, what would it look like? What would it be like? And you're welcome out there. Thank you for asking the question.
So, yeah, thanks for that question. So like I said, hypnosis is just a tool that we use to actually go in and do the work. So we go on a journey to find out whatever issue that you want to focus on in a session. Some people want to find out, what was my past life with, what have I been carrying from lifetime to lifetime. I want to be able to find out what that is and resolve it. Or some people might say, I'm always feeling you know, maybe anxious feelings or feelings of depression, just feeling depressed, like whatever issue it is that you bring and say that this is what I want to work on. We basically take a journey to find out what the origin of that issue is. Sometimes the origin can be found in this life from earlier experiences, and then sometimes it can be found in the past life. Where exactly you'll go, I have no idea until you get there and you start telling me what's happening. Hey, this is where I am. This is where I am a childhood, or this is describing a past life. Um, So we go on to find that origin, and we work through that. We also go through um, um, uh, to find any spirit attachments as well, what I call a body scan. To do a body scan to find out, again, if there's any energies that's attached to you, either in, any part of your body, or even sometimes you found it, in your spiritual body through on the chakras. Because sometimes, like I said, those things always bring those issues with them. And sometimes you think that you're experiencing certain things because you're experiencing it because of whatever reason, a physical or symptom or emotional symptom, but it's really a symptom that was brought to you because of an attachment. Um, and so we'll do that, and then we'll also work through any forgiveness issues, because a lot of times we find that um, trauma from either childhood or past lives wasn't resolved because there was trauma, and people were holding on to things and they never forgave someone. Somewhere along the way there was something that they were holding on to, emotions that didn't allow them to make peace with the situation and move forward. And so we do some forgiveness therapy there as well. And then of course we'll call on and speak with the higher self. And sometimes an ancestor will come through and speak instead, and sometimes the guides, spirit guides, will come and speak. And then when we speak with them, basically ask questions that the client brings ahead of time, questions that they say they want answers to. And again, this can be anything. Excuse me. It can be anything from their purpose to questions about relationships and family, the questions about career and finance, the questions about um, uh, uh, home issues, if I should move, where should I move to, literally any question. And they just want guidance on it because they've been in their head so much that they just can't get a clear answer. And or maybe they feel like their connection isn't very strong to the guides and they need a direct answer. And so we go through those questions to get answers for them. And in a nutshell, that's 2-3 hour session. That's pretty much what we handle in a nutshell. But it's so intricate that it's kind of difficult for me to kind of go through a whole session with you because everybody's session is completely different because everybody has completely different issues and things that they want to address and handle in a session. But it's always unique to each individual. And sometimes people think they're coming for one reason, and it turns out to be a whole nother reason that the session that we were really having a session for. But I always say that you always get what you need, how you need it when you need it. And the best way to approach a session is to just come with an open mind and allow it to be what it will be for you, and not have any expectations, because I have there's videos and things like that on YouTube on my channel where I post some snippets from client sessions, little snippets, and they're always with permission. I don't just post it automatically. Um, and some people will watch those and be like, oh, I think I want to have a session like that. And I always tell them no expectations like that. Like that was done. You want to let your session be what it needs to be for you. You're a completely different person, completely different soul, completely different, everything. So it's allowed to be what it needs for you. But I hope that answers your question.
I love that, and it's so important. Like what Neoshi said, like you'll with life period, and what Neoshi is doing is she is facilitating, helping you. You can do this, but she's guiding you to being able to be able to be in this energy where you're able to receive these answers that you're asking for. That's why she said you'll receive what you're ready for, in the time that you're ready for it. So it's going to be a different session for you. It's beautiful, and it really ties into this question very well. And I kind of already know when it says, will it be easier to readily identify your spirit guides and ancestors that are around you on a daily after a session? It's kind of like what I was just describing. It's kind of like you're going to, by them going on that session, if that's an intention for them, being able to stay connected after. It's not like you're going to need Neoshi every time you want to connect with your guides, but that energy that she's going to facilitate. That would be a lot of work for Neoshi. Like they'd be knocking on your door at 2 a.m. like, Neoshi, I gotta talk with him. So that would be rough.
Right. Yeah. That's a lot of, like I said, a lot of clients, they want assistance in being able to connect more, excuse me, with their guides. They want a strong connection. They feel like they've been trying to connect and they can't. And it's because of that critical mind that's always in the way, in the way, in the way, in the way. It's always talking and saying something, and they're not really listening, and they're not really allowing themselves to listen. And so, well, I'll ask certain things like that to guys. Hey, how can I connect? How can she connect more with you? She wants to connect more with you, or he wants to connect more with you. How can he do that? They will tell you. She needs to do this, 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 this. It might be um, turn off the TV, go outside, spend more time in nature, or it might be, and it's different for everybody. It could be journal more. It could be, oh, just talk to me, or it could be, she needs to take more spiritual baths and try and connect that way. Like it's different for everyone, but yeah, you definitely, once you receive the answers as to how, that's a question, how do you connect more? How do you easily connect and readily connect on a daily basis? Those answers are given to you, and you'll have the opportunity to be able to do that if you follow through and listen.
I love that. I love that. I love how you answered that too. That can give us all a lot of peace. And again, for some of you out there, this might be the first time that you're ever even even hearing about the possibility of any of this, which is just a great place to be, because you're open enough to be attracted to this conversation, which I highly recommend. Then either reaching out if you're inspired, but definitely connecting with Neoshi, or just always acting on curiosity or inspire. If it's an inspired thing, then definitely act on inspiration. But for me, even if I'm curious about something, like, I'll take a little action because I want to get some life experience there, which will provide some more clarity on the question that I'm answering. Without the life experience, there's no clarity. Like, you don't get to, you're in the same spot. So there's no new, things to not to like or dislike or desires that we have. It all comes from life experience showing us, okay, this is the direction that I would like to go. So I love how you answered that.
Yeah, let me
Thank
add
you.
this really also.
Mhm.
Um, uh, one thing I do want every client to walk away with is to know who their guides and their ancestors are, that who are guides. So I always ask, do you know who your guides are? Do you know who your ancestors are that are assisting you? Because I want them to know, because like you said, I'm not going to be there I can't be there every time they want to talk to their guides or ancestors. So I want them to know who they are, how they guide them, what's their name, how can they connect with them, each individual. So those are questions that I ask so that they can do that. But, having the information and doing something with it versus having the information and not doing anything with it is completely different thing. So you'll get that information, but what you do with it is up to you.
I love it. Are you, Neosha, are you able to, you feel, how much difference do you feel doing this in person versus anything online? Like, do you feel, how much of a difference do you feel as the facilitator?
The process is exactly the same in person and online, but in-person sessions are my favorite just because it's you're connecting with the person one-on-one, and you're in the same energy in the room. Like, I know in my remote sessions I still feel the energy is amazing, um and I will always want my client to feel that energy. I'm sure they do, but the energy that I always experience um in-person sessions is always it's so intense. I don't know if it's probably just a preference for me, because I'm just a person who's just very sensitive to energy. And when I do this work, I work with my guides, I work with my ancestors, I work with my clients, guides and ancestors. I always, invite them to come as well. So, of course, when they are in the room, the energy is just so loving. It's so I can't describe it. It's something really awesome. But in-person sessions, I put a hold on those at the moment for obvious reasons. But the remote sessions work exactly the same way. So there's nothing I can't do in a remote session that I don't do in an in-person session.
Okay. I love it. I love it. All right. You guys if you have a question, put it in the question box. I can flash it on the screen here. But I saw this one. You were speaking about this earlier when it comes to detaching spirits that may still be sticking around in our energy. Is it possible for them to reattach later on?
Yeah, of course. If you and I mean, I don't know about the same one because once we remove the spirit, once I have them go to the light, I make sure, like, I make sure not only do they take everything that they brought with them, however they've been affecting you in whatever ways, I have them pull it up from the roots and take it with them to the light. But I always make sure that they're happy when they go to the light. For one, I always make sure that they feel safe when they go to the light because I always have someone come and greet them at the light. And when they go, they're excited to go. They don't want to come back. But is it possible for other attachments to other spirits to attach to you? Yes, most definitely. If your vibration is low, if you're going through things and you're not protecting yourself spiritually, and you're open, and they're just going to see opportunity, and they will attach for different reasons. Sometimes they're attaching, and not just why they attach, but who attaches, and all of that is a factor. But some of them are attachments, are spirits or people from past lives. Some are women who maybe aborted children. Those children weren't ready to go when they attached to their mom. Some are relatives who died. Maybe they died in a way and felt like they weren't ready to go, and so they attached to the loved one. And then there's some just passerbys, and they see an opportunity to maybe have fun because they weren't ready to go to the light, or maybe they were afraid to go to the light because maybe they thought they were going to see someone there that they were hadn't resolved an issue with. There's always issues of forgiveness. There's always a fear of some sort. There's always unresolved, which is why they're hanging around. And so sometimes they'll take advantage of you, and just attached because they want, for different reasons, whether it be you seem adventurous and they've had a dull life, so they want to experience that type of life, or maybe they think they're protecting you because they see, you've had a rough time in love and they want to protect your heart, and so they come in and attach and they start hardening your heart so you don't get hurt anymore, not knowing that they're doing you a disservice. It can literally be for any reason, but when they do attach, and I find them, they're all like, I make sure they're happy and they don't come back. But if you allow yourself to vibrate at a low energy field, then you're more than likely gonna attract someone who's looking for, someone to attach to. So yeah, it's possible for someone from others to attach once another one leaves. Yeah, it is possible if your energy isn't very high.
Remember, everyone, there's universal laws, and then everything else is possibility. So is it possible? Absolutely. And then Neoshi pointed out is so beautiful to remind us all that the only we control the vibration that we bring to this current moment, this present moment, and then we attract to us things that are energetic matches to that vibration. So when Neoshi is describing, like, if we're, and it's not that you're a bad person, but if you're vibrating, maybe you've been on the frustrated or angry or irritated, frequency for, that's become a habit for you. That's become a pattern. There could be all sorts of reasons why, you can get into that. But if that's how you're vibrating, we have to just know that what is going to be attracted to that vibration is going to be things that feel like that, and there might be some new manifestations that feel like that, some frustrating, irritating physical manifestations, maybe some illnesses, maybe some relationships challenges. It's just, it's all part of it. So if we could just pay attention to that and make that important to us and matter to us, now we're aware. And it doesn't mean we're guaranteed to vibe high all day, every day, but you have a better chance if you're paying attention and it matters to you. And then you practice, and then you can do things that, that are allowing you to keep your attention and your energy to where you like it to be. Like, I wake up in the morning and on purpose I meditate because I know that puts me connected with who I truly am, that love vibration, right away. And then the funny thing that happens is it doesn't guarantee that I'm gonna stay in that vibration all day, but the first anxious or worried or stressful thought that I have, that's such a different feeling and energy than that vibration after I've done meditating. I notice it right away. So now I'm aware. now I have a choice. Do I want to keep going down that direction, that rabbit hole, and keep focusing on whatever that is that has me frustrated the way that I'm focusing on it? Or do I want to say, ooh, that's not, we're not going there. Like, I'm returning back to this peaceful place. So I'm going to either release that, find something about it to appreciate, all the things that we know how to do to where it doesn't have to take hold of us and drag us down. But then if we're not aware of any of this, then you're kind of, which there was a time where I wasn't either. You're just kind of at the mercy of the external, I kind of like to say, because it's just we're paying attention to what we see, and that's controlling how we vibrate, which that's a roller coaster ride, and we've all been there. But if you're watching this right now, then you're open to it being different. So congratulations. I'm excited for you all, because this is who we all truly are.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so I'll ask another question, and then I'm going to ask you one more question, Neoshi. And this is fun. I appreciate you being open to answering these. Thank you guys for asking them as well, because this is the process is visuals. Okay, I'll put this one on the screen as well. If anybody else has a question, put it, and then I'm going to ask Neoshi another question. The process is visuals just for the person under hypnosis. So I'm assuming they mean they're seeing things as they're going through this process visually.
So yeah, they want. I guess what it asks is how hypnosis is experienced. So yes, when you're doing through hypnosis, everybody experiences it differently, but everybody will usually experience it in one of the following ways. Some people will get visuals, whether it be like a flash of a photo or a little short movie clip, or still photos, or some people say it's like an avatar experience. Um, Everyone will get some people will get that, but if they get it a visual, it's not like with our eyes open. Like, you're not gonna see like we're seeing now, because clearly your eyes will be closed. But it'll be more so like a image in your mind's eye, similar to daydreaming. Um, so some people experience it that way, and other people experience it as just having a very strong knowing. You just know something. You might say, I'm getting married, or you just feel like you're at a wedding. Uh, or you have a feeling of knowing that you're driving a car and you're feeling nervous, or someone's following you, or like, you'll have a knowing. And then some people will experience it as having thoughts pop into their minds. They might say, I'm hearing this, or I'm hearing that. Everybody will experience it in one or some or all of those ways. However they experience it is on them. I don't know how they experience it, because everybody's different, and I won't know until after the session that how they experience it when they tell me this is what I experienced. But everybody can experience it differently. Everybody doesn't always have the visuals, but most people do. But it just varies from person to person, I guess, and how they learn best, I guess, or how they experience.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for that. All those questions. You asked 3 really good questions. I appreciate you out there. Okay, so this is the last one that I see, but I'm curious your take on this, because I haven't heard it described this way before, and I'll give you my version of it. But can you explain what the light is? And they said from their research, the light after death is some sort of soul trap. What's your version of the light that you're describing?
So for me, the light is just that space where you go to plan your next reincarnation and to evolve and to do whatever other work you need to do on the spiritual plane. Excuse me. The light is that place where you can connect with guides and ancestors and whoever else is helping you on your journey as a spiritual being. Because we come to this place, we come and incarnate in this specific realm. We come here to learn different lessons. We have to experience. We come to experience ourselves, to know what it's like to be in this aspect of life, and then maybe another lifetime might be another aspect of life, maybe a complementary or different, to be able to experience, maybe, let's say, both sides of the coin, so to speak. So the light for me is just it's just the ability to be able to release whatever you've been holding that's holding you to this realm, and being able to go and experience and regroup and explore what else you want to learn. Plan your planning stages for your next life. Maybe you decide I don't want to have another life right now. Maybe I just want to go to school, and and figure out some things. And that's some school of thoughts. In the light, there's different things like schools and all these other things. But for me, that's what the light is, just another place to regroup and to figure out what your next step is and plan accordingly.
I love it. I'll share with you guys an analogy that I really love to use, and this is who all of us truly are. The Atlantic Ocean is right there, and Neoshi's in Miami too, so we're surrounded by water. There's bodies of water everywhere. That's one of the cool things about here, South Florida. But the Atlantic Ocean is literally right there, and if we're describing the light, like I describe this as all that is. I describe this as God, universe, all that is an all-encompassing word that I like to use. And so for us, we come here to this human experience and we think about what the waves do. So the waves come here onto the sand and, soaks into the grounds, and not the whole ocean, because if the whole ocean came, then we wouldn't have any more earth left. So just you as the wave. And there's 7.7 billion, waves as far as the humans walking around here. And then what happens? Not the whole wave comes in. Part of it stays out with the light, with all that is. And so we're connected. That's where our guides are. That's where everything is going on. So that's who we all truly are, but we decided to come experience this as physical. And so that part stays on the sand. And when it's time for us to go back, that part stays, our physical body stays here, or, we will be a burial ceremony, or, some cultures, you burn it, or whatever it is. And then you return back out into the light, into all that is, and we continue to be. And so that's the way that it works for me visually.
That
But
is
yeah,
so true. Yeah,
you like that? You like that
of
description?
you don't bring all of you into this realm. Like, you imagine if you brought 100% of your being into this vessel, what that would be like, you know? So yeah, I agree wholeheartedly that you bring in a small piece of you to be, like I said, to just experience. And then once it's over, you gotta let that piece go back. You have to go back and join, uh, reconnect with yourself, the source, your whoever you want to call it. And again, just plan out, okay, what do I want to do next? Where am I going to go out and experience now? So I agree with that. I love that analogy. That's amazing. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's possible for us to go through this whole human experience and not remember who we truly are throughout the whole, process. I'm sure many of us have had many lives where we haven't remembered who we are, and that's why it's beautiful. And the thing that I'm grateful for most is being any age, but just being, alive here and now, remembering who I truly am. You out there listening, remembering who you truly are, because the power that gives us in these human bodies to just ask the questions, what it is that we would like to see in our health, in our relationships, in creating things for this world. Like, we're just infinite power because we're connected with all that is, like, while we're here. But once we leave these, again, like Neoshi said, we wouldn't bring all that power because there would be no reason to be human. Like, the human experience is what, we experience the pain, which allows us to evolve. We experience the, all the things that we can touch and that we can feel. We know who we truly are when we're back with life. We're back out in the ocean with all that is, like, like, there's not a question, because that's who you are. You're just being it, But here in this human body, we forget when we come here. Like, it's just, we wouldn't have come here if we immediately knew all that there is, and then there'd be nothing really to experience here as human. We'd be really bored. It'd be like, oh, kind of master this earth plane. Like, what's next? So.
Right. 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 Exactly. I agree. And so, the short answer is the light for me is the source. Plain and simple.
I love it. I love it. Well, this has been so much fun, Neoshi. And anything you want to share with the audience as far as how to connect with you, and all those things, as far as if they want a reading, and just reach out to you, and they could be anywhere in the world because you're doing it online. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Anything you want to
Yes.
share?
I'll over clients from Canada to Europe to here in the U.S. to Africa and India. I work with people everywhere. It doesn't matter. It's the power of the internet. allows you to be able to work with anyone who has a connection. You can connect with me at neoshihypno.com. Also on IG at Neoshi Hypno Soul Healing, and also through YouTube. My channel is Neoshi Hypno. I post different clips, some clips and snippets from sessions that clients allow me to share. And then I'm also hosting an event next month, a little intimate past life regression party, just for those who aren't familiar with past life regression and maybe I've always wanted to experience it. It's not one of my full sessions, but we're going to be going through some past lives and a future life, and it's a whole 3-hour experience. And so you can connect and, or book a session, do whatever, you feel drawn to do. But either way, you can find me in either one of those places.
I love it. I love it. Definitely take advantage of that. And Neoshi, is there anything else that you want to share? It could be any topic, any subject, knowing someone could listen to this 50 years from now and they could be drawn to this episode and be like, oh, that Neoshi human, this is exactly what I needed. Or just driving home anything you've already shared. But is there anything else that wants to flow out of you that I didn't ask that you just want to make sure they hear this from you here in this conversation?
I know a lot of people are, I'm experiencing a lot of people, noticing a lot of people are coming from religion and trying to find their own spiritual path. My advice would just be, do what you feel led to do. Don't, allow yourself to be led down a path that you don't connect to. Religion is great because it assists ultimately with helping everybody get to where they want to be in terms of what everybody's seeking for, that love and that peace and happiness and fulfillment. It's not for everyone, that's fine. And some people take a different path and then spiritually, find the path that, resonates with them, and that's great. But just do what you feel led to do. Don't allow someone to restrict your own beliefs and make you feel bad about not resonating with something that you feel isn't for you. That would be my that would be my parting words for that.
I love it. I love it. All paths lead back to source. I was inspired to share that just now. That just flowed out of me just now. When you were saying that, I was like, because in truth, all paths do. Like even the most painful path where maybe you have to leave this physical body and like you're gone. Like this physical body, it stays here and it soaks into the sand, like in the analogy. That still leads you back to source. Like that's where you're going when you leave this physical body. So all paths, whether it's continuing to be here or going and doing something else, that's where it leads. So I love it. I appreciate you sharing that, and that was fun to affirm that for all of us.
Yes, thanks. Appreciate it. Thanks for inviting me. Appreciate you for having me here.
Absolutely. Conversation I would have wanted to have with you anyway, and just happy that we can share this. You guys share this on your story if you're inspired to. If this impacted you at all, it'll be on, you'll see this after we close here on Instagram. It'll go off and it'll be on the IGTV for 24 hours. And after that, it's permanently inside of Universal Abundance, which is a consciousness community that you guys are all invited to. And in fact, Neoshi's episode that we just did will be a part of that, like permanently, because this will uplift people long after my physical body is gone. It will impact people. And so if you guys are inspired to share this, do it. And just excited for all of us here, and just sending you guys all love. Thank you for participating, everybody out here that shared a question or just shared any energy or shared your attention. I could definitely feel that, and just excited for everybody. We're all, again, just different versions of the same energy, the same stuff. So let's remember that when before we condemn or judge or blame or say that someone isn't, this or someone isn't that, you're pointing at you. That's you too, as well. That'd be like, again, the waves analogy. That'd be like the waves out in the ocean being like, I don't like you because you're bluer than me or bigger than me or colder than me. That would be silly, right? So that's what we're doing here. That's we're as we're battling with each other, just remember that that's just a different version of you. So love all of you out there, sending you all love whenever you hear this, and appreciate you guys for playing with us today. And have a beautiful day. I'm gonna share this, and then I'm gonna stop the stream over here, and I'll say bye to you over here on Zoom.
For videos of hundreds of conscious conversations like this one, as well as live workshops, head over to universalabundance.co. That's universalabundance.co, and join the Universal Abundance community. And if you help us share this consciousness, as a result, attract and manifest unlimited abundance to you. Love and appreciate you all. Talk to you soon.